want the former vice president, the PDP presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, to tell us in clear words, because many papers, many television stations, many radio stations have been giving various versions of the documents handed over to you. Sir, what did the documents handed over to you say about the person of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Thank you, sir. And secondly, sir, what value will these documents handed over to you will be at the Supreme Court?
On the certificate issued or released by Chicago State University to the lawyers of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. These are the documents. One, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu forged the certificate he presented to INEC. That's one. Two, that the qualifying certificate from Southwest College to Chicago State University bears a female, indicating that that document does not belong to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Three, the Chicago State University admission application form has a claim that Bola Ahmed Tinubu attended Government College, Lagos, and graduated in 1970, when indeed the school was established in 1974. The same document has it that the owner of that document is a Black American, and the document Bola Ahmed Tinubu submitted to INEC, he denied having dual citizenship, which means it does not belong to him. Then, the same document, oral deposition, says that the Bola A. Tinubu is Ahmed, but the NYSC certificate Bola Ahmed Tinubu submitted to INEC has Adekunle. I don't know where the Adekunle and the Ahmed emerged from. So, on the second arm of your question, of what use will it be in the Supreme Court, it is very, very clear that from decided authorities, the Supreme Court has held that they can accept a party to adduce fresh evidence as long as certain conditions are met. And from what transpired in the proceedings in U.S. courts, that condition has already been met. So, as we speak, our law is very clear that a party at fault cannot be allowed to enjoy the fruit of his illegality. That is our answer to your question. Thank you. My name is Carlo.
Oh, pweke. Hey. Now, what? So, all the rumor where they talk say, na say you go to school, na say you go school. People, they lie. INEC chairman, oh yeah, come and explain. Come out and explain. My country people, now welcome back again to Bod TV. But when they analyze all the trends that they happen, when I watch this video, my belly they sweet me because you know, sweet person don't to get wings, You let them know say me. People are watching you. See what thing Atiku, former president of Nigeria, just do with ease. Bakara, if na poor man and nobody go know wetin happen, though they fight and tooth and nail. You see, when the rich man jam the rich man, wetin they go see? Na ground they go scatter. My people, hey, not be here. But first of all, Atiku Abubakar commend David Udai, say he really tried. See, for even going that far and even releasing some documents, we be say everything was crystal clear and they were all the same. findings. My country people, una see every day for the thief, one day for the owner. I go let some of this video play, all the evidence, bang, 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 bang. I go bring them come together. They couldn't even answer saying, hey, and they are thinking that you are a betrayer. Who will betray? I think also you betray. You have brought out a president out of a national television. Hey, oh, cool. Not be here, oh, my people. Oh, this thing today sweet me, too sweetie. So that's what it be. Person you wake up one day, carry false certificate, go give INEC. Make they give INEC chairman microphone, make he explain. Oh yeah, Oga, come explain yourself. You not verify am. Abi the money wey they give you, you can't dey pour through away. To the essence, you can't dey do yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Hey, my country people. Atiku don talk and say this fight, not only in fight, to say this fight now for all Nigerians. Make we take back our right and our legacy, and make we correct all the impression wey be say they don't make negatively about this country. He said not only in your fight, so say they call on Peter Obi, in they call on Kwakwa, so they call on other political leaders. May all of them come out, come join and fight this fight. My people, it is way. Now, wow, I gonna let this video play more. Kuna enjoy am. In fact, this same video now Pharaoh to me own, and the other one we call they support the lawyer where they support APC. That one when I they watch, I they roll for ground. My people now watch this video from the beginning to the end. I they roll for ground. Cause he fight with Rufai. Rufai call and say it's an emotional blackmailer. Hey, the man tell Rufai, so yeah, begin to apologize to me. Rufai say, Allah, our one, you apologize. No, he say not they apologize. If you not see fight, we happen for our rights today. If you not see the glass goes, hey, what? I beg more to enjoy.
A spokesman for the president said that what you are doing against the president is a form of betrayal. And they said that in 2007, the president gave you a platform to run with and all that. And now you are, embarrassing him on an international stage. Don't you fear that this bond between you will be permanently broken? Thank you.
Well, I beg to disagree with Bola Tinubu. Yes, it is true. In 2007, we came together to form AC. And in Lagos, at the convention, I emerged as the winner and got the ticket. After I got the ticket, he sent about 5 or 6 senior partymen. Some of them are here. I can even name them, but I don't want to embarrass them. And they met me and said to me that Bola wanted to be my running mate. I said, gentlemen, you are all old enough. And apparently, virtually all of you are Christians with the exception of only one person. What would be your reaction to have a Muslim ticket? All of them said, we totally object to it. I said, then why didn't you tell him when he was giving you the message that, look, Mr. Tinubu, the message you are giving us, we don't seem to agree with you. Why are you coming then to me? And that was the end of the political relationship. He broke away, went and supported Umaru Yar'Adua. So, where is the ground for him to say that I betrayed him? But those of you who are old enough will also remember that in 2003, the PDP took over all the southwestern states, with the exception of Lagos. I stood between Obasanjo and himself. I said, no, you can't take over Lagos. Leave it. And he left it. So who is indebted to the other? Is it me or Bola Tinubu?
But there are other things which I would not want to go into. But I vehemently deny that either I stabbed him at the back or did not do him, whatever. Until today, I will not do Muslim ticket. So I don't have to be president because I don't believe it is right for this country. It's not right. Absolutely wrong. We are multi-ethnic and multi-religious. And our government should reflect our diversity and our composition. Thank you very much.
Well, first thing first, it was correct to decree the forgery by Mr. Tinubu as frivolous. When you consider all the other things that are confronting Nigeria, it is particularly trivial to contemplate that the president, quote and unquote, of the country, of the most populous black country in the world, actually forged his certificate. Now, to move beyond that, because it is very easy to try to run away from the trivialities that the Tinubu administration has more or less forced on us. But if you dig deeper in the body of the same deposition, you begin to address the fact again that there are so many lies undergirding even the forged certificate itself, too many questions waiting to be answered. People might begin to talk about how evidence does not count again at this point. But again, it's not like evidence has ever mattered in our space, because even the judiciary have found ways to make what matters not matter any longer. But there is something that I must respond to, even though it wasn't asked of me directly. And this is this idea that somebody is an Omoluabi simply because the person is a Yoruba person. An Omoluabi comes with qualification. It comes with qualification of integrity, of honesty, of pedigree, of history. That is why we have Oriki in Yoruba land. A person would be praised to his progeny. You will speak to his generations. You will talk about who are his forefathers. That is the mark of the Omoluabi. And then the person must earn the tag of the Omoluabi. He must act with integrity. He must deal equitably with other people. He must be fair in his dealings with people. In fact, the entire ethos of Omoluabi, you can find it in the book of Amos in the Bible. That is how deep the concept is. To now appropriate Omoluabi to everybody who answers the name of a Yoruba person, even when the person has not acted in a manner that is suggestive of the person having the quality that will make the person answer to the name of Omoluabi. I reject that in its entirety. I am an Omoluabi. I'm a Yoruba man. And I have not forged my certificates. And so please, it is not a Nigerian thing, and it is certainly not a Yoruba thing, and it is not an Omoluabi thing to do that.
All right. The question then goes to Mr. Hassan. In the event, of course, it's not proven. Until the matter is concluded, we cannot make assumptions. But in the event, because we hear in other parts of the world when a public officer is saying, he wouldn't even wait for a ruling by the courts, or honorable thing is to resign. What do you think?
Well, from the content, I still want to inform that except it's explicitly spelled out by CSU is an institution. It's not just like the way we mobbed our institution here in Nigeria by campaign of calumny or by attacks. But as an institution, but the fact that they reckoned with Ashwaju as a graduate, I still maintain that ground. Nothing can outweigh that, because that was just the fact. There are other lies Atiku brought before the whole world. If you are telling too many lies, it will be quite unfortunate. I'm coming. Just as he never answered your question, because you asked him a very straightforward question and he deviated and went on a voyage on his own self-interest. But for me, Ashwaju, just like our organization, recently, we hold the symbolism of Omoluabi. There are a lot of characters that hold that value: hard work, vision, courage, integrity. These are semblances that we hold in high esteem. Until it's proven otherwise, we will take the right decision to rethink and review our decision. But as at now, And that is the system of Yoruba people. Recently, we just took a decision on another statement for just violating a moral decadence of the Yoruba people, because he violated just for Obasanjo to apologize. We sanction him. It doesn't matter whose us is God. But for the fact that social justice must be maintained, rule of law must be maintained, you cannot come on a live program imputing. You don't impute. You even raise it as an allegation until it's proven. He's a lawyer, and I'm also a lawyer. You don't come to impute a crime that have not yet been investigated and properly alleged. For the fact that the school had just come out. So this is one of our person. We had all the qualification. The earlier issue was that it was parading a female, it was parading this, it was parading every other. But yet, at various points in time, the hatred, some of these are people, for the fact that we're all Yoruba doesn't mean we must love our own. I'm not a sentimental and ethnic person. I'm the Secretary General of all ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. I hold the Igbo in high esteem, the Hausas in high esteem. So it's not about a Yoruba thing. We are talking about national interest.
Absolutely. So to the question.
And if he does, I've already answered your question.
I asked that in the event,
yes.
and it could be anybody. So maybe
yes.
Because of the personality, in the event that it's proven,
yes.
would you suggest or recommend that the person in question should resign?
No, if he's proven guilty, the Senate needs to impeach him. It doesn't need to still hold on when they do more, because that is the law. When we are talking about law, we tend to be more emotional in this part of the world. If you are not reading in between the lines, the more that we are hypnotized and overzealous about political intrigues that battled us in the 2023 general elections. We all know how we had till now. If you go on social media, there are a lot of issues there.
Yes.
But in view of the fact that Asiwaju today is still an Omoluabi par excellence, except Mr. Dele Farotimi has personal hatred and issue. If you don't have any, you don't begin to chastise a man for just the fact that he's a former governor of Lagos State. Everybody has their own interest. But for the fact that you've aided a political, you've aided your own political candidate. Let's give him a breathing space to serve the people, which he has started well. Thank you.
Let's deal with facts. Not
yes,
sentiments.
definitely.
Not sentiments. I want to deal with facts. So, have you taken our time to read the raw copy? Over 200 pages of deposition, because I want to interrogate the raw copy.
Definitely.
Have you read everything?
Yes, I've read it.
You've read everything. Are you sure?
Definitely.
Okay, good. So let me take you first to the part where the school talked about the fact that they didn't give the certificate that he submitted to INEC. You're a lawyer by training. There's something called the Evidence Act. Before you put forward a document that can be submitted under oath, it has to be issued by the authority issuing body.
Yes.
Mr. Tinubu submitted a document that in this deposition, CSU said they did not issue. Number one, what's that your interpretation of that? Secondly, if you submit a document, you claimed an authority issued and the authority claimed they didn't issue it. What's your interpretation of that? Secondly, Mr. Farotimi, I want to go straight to the facts. They talked about the case of Mr. Orr in the deposition, and I'm sure have you read the deposition fully?
I won't lie to you that I have. Unlike Mr. Hassan, I haven't read everything.
Okay, they talk about a certain Mr. Orr that after they dealt with the certification process that left CSU, and they didn't know the circumstances at which they left CSU. They also confirmed that they gave Mr. Enarueba document, because some people have been lying that Mr. Enarueba didn't subpoena CSU. They confirmed that they gave him document. They even further revealed that the normal template that the president graduated from CSU was written many years ago, and they just used it to respond to email of people that make inquiries. They also further talked about the fact that they have no authentication as regards that Southwestern College. So the CSU themselves confirmed that they don't have any means to be able to authenticate if the records any student submitted to them is valid or not. Because I've read in details this, so that's why I'm asking you if you've read properly, because I want to deal with facts. So these are some of the facts on ground. Number one, I'd like to ask you, if as a lawyer, an issuing body that you claim gave you a document said they did not give it to you, and you submitted that document under oath. What does that mean?
In the circumstance of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, stricto sensu, there was a missing, he requested for a reissuance of a certificate. And this is the diploma certificate we are talking about. And there are procedures in American system of education whereby documents, not all documents, especially certificates, they outsource printing of certificates in their own system. Their system is not like the way we run our own education as in primary, secondary. So far, you have all the prerequisites. And from their own records, it's just like their records standing against them now. You cannot appropriate or reprobate. The finality, which I'm still telling you, is the fact that from the article's point of view, they need to still subject that to a thorough investigation. And that is where we want to maintain.
Sorry, can I come in? Can I come in? It's obvious, sir. No. You didn't read the document. Hang on a minute. Because it's obvious you didn't read the document.
No. You have just asked me a question.
No, let me finish.
That's the same way.
Let me finish.
You always preempt the person who's answering.
My brother, we come a long way. And your emotional blackmail cannot work with me. You achieve a blackmail.
No, you have come down.
So let me please.
Can you retrieve that?
Let me speak. Your emotional blackmail cannot work with me.
Statement.
Secondly, you have not read the document.
I will not continue to answer your question.
You have not read the document because if you have read the document,
stop to answer your question.
If you have read the document,
Mr. Rufai,
if you have
please go back and retrieve that statement, or else let me answer.
I will not retrieve the statement because you constantly emotionally blackmail. So moving on.
No. Okay, please direct your question somewhere.
Let me make my points. If you have read the document, it shows that CSU actually sent another document was made for Tinubu to Nahoro Eba. And there was discrepancy. That's why CSU said they did not print out that document that particularly was sent to INEC. Mr. What's it called? I would like to come to you. Mr. Farutimi. Please, can you comment on all the facts I have brought out?
See, facts don't matter in Nigeria any longer. That's just the truth. It's gotten to the point where alternative facts have taken over the space and truth itself have become completely subjective and transactional. The depositions are clear and they are not ambiguous. The person representing CSU was unequivocal in declaring that the certificate submitted to INEC by the man known as Bola Tinubu, does not emanate from them. That is a matter that should be conclusively dealt with and forgotten about. Whether the Nigerian courts will find that a sufficient basis to do the needful, that's another argument that we can have at another time. But that we're still arguing about what has been conclusively proven in the deposition speaks a lot to the kind of country that we have become. Now, when you now speak about a missing document, the person went to school, we now begin to dig to the substance of the issue. You now begin to have to answer the question. The document submitted to CSU itself, showing that it was a female that had the qualification to enter the place, nobody is talking about that. If we are not going to be dealing with the substance and we are just dancing around the issue, we can't even agree on what is not or what should not be argued about that is already clear in the face of the deposition, that this document marked A that was given to INEC by Mr. Tinubu did not emanate from the body that was purportedly issuing the document. The body came out clearly. Now, whether Mr. Tinubu attended the university, whether he attended having the right qualifications, whether he lied about the schools he attended, whether Government College Lagos was found in 1970 or 1974, that's another story entirely. And the deeper you dig into this, the messier it becomes. And I actually think that we have a duty not to allow truth to become transactional and subjective. Facts on the ground are clear. The certificate submitted by Mr. Tinubu is a forgery. That is not my opinion. That is what the registrar of the school has declared on oath. So what our own courts would do with it is what they are prepping for with all these alternative narratives and facts that they are spewing. Oh, so I have a driver's license, but I forgot my driver's license, and I have now forged one so that I might prove that I actually had one issued to me. It's still a forgery.
The court of the people saying they are going to take evidence to the Supreme Court, I ask both of you, is the Supreme Court a court of evidence or a court of public policy? Can anybody still take fresh evidence to the Supreme Court after evidence had been pleaded in the lower court and after the defense had filed their own address and defense? So can the Supreme Court now take a fresh matter as evidence? Because we've been talking back and forth on that. Maybe Dele Farotimi will handle that. And for you, the specific question I want you to ask is that, you know what is causing all this problem?
Yes.
Is that people are saying the energy that the APC and President Tinubu, that they are putting into, they don't want this record to be released. If some people are saying it's because maybe there's something they are trying to hide. Now, otherwise, if there is no issue, you just say, okay, release the record now. What are they going to do with it? So what is all this thing about severe and irreparable damage? What damage?
Well, let me.
So maybe your lawyers are the ones who missed the boat.
No. Let me speak as a lawyer first. Yeah. This is an election petition matter, and within 21 days you are meant to present all your facts and figures. You cannot re-amend after 21 days. You have 180 days to present, and so far that you fail to plan up an issue, you cannot begin to blame everyone for your failure. That is what is happening to Atiku and Peter Obi now. And I will now come back to the effect that how we arrive at where we are is because we are not being truthful to ourselves. And just as you mentioned, you are a journalist, but your colleague here is very highly unprofessional.
No, please.
No, I'm coming.
Just address the question.
I'm coming. I'm not emotionally blackmailing anybody. You are asking a question.
Blackmailer. Continue.
You are asking a question.
Blackmailer.
On the premise of neutrality. You don't bring up your emotions into it. I've just provided you an answer.
Professional blackmailer.
Yeah, it's in record. This is an institution. You can write further requests to reaffirm forgery. But they have a process in America. The vendor, there is a vendor, you go to that vendor to reassert if that document actually, that vendor had the authority. By whose authority was the vendor acting? Was there an authorized legal authority to those vendors? Meaning there was a vendor. Meaning there is a truth here. And in evidence, for the fact that these are privileged documents. In America, we don't run things like we are. For the fact that we have FOI in Nigeria, you just apply, you get your document. But in America, you sought the consent of the owner of that document for release. If he doesn't still give you his own document, no matter how, except he gives you...
Even here in Nigeria, you can't ask for my transcript.
Yeah.
You cannot go to universities
except there substantial reason, criminal reason. And here we are not investigating either Asiwaju did not go to... They are proved, their allegation, all of them, including Dele Farotimi, is that, oh, this man never went to the school, he was parading, never to have graduated. Now you are seeing it, Mr. Rufai. I'm not putting it to you, just the way, it's not left to you.
No, you are the guest.
Respond.
You are the guest.
No, let him put it to me.
No, please.
No,
you are the guest. Just address the question.
To me,
please.
I'm not too emotional.
No, please.
Fact might be very hard for all of us that Asiwaju is the president of this country. Let us accept that as a fact. Is there. Definitely the political interest can be on your side tomorrow. I, as a person, I believed in various of my interests. I walk in on the truth. And if I'm continuing to maintain my stand on some issues, but the fact that other people have their own candidate and all that, we maintain our endorsement of Asiwaju because we went through his record. This matter started with Fawemi. There was a matter of the ICPC. There are a lot of matters Asiwaju that have been determined by the court. And you cannot retroactivate an issue that has been determined by a law court. This man is a graduate. Going into looking out for every pulse on the body of a dead man, you are just disturbing yourself. So these are not issues we just have to trivialize. These are privileged documents. He said, oh, maybe don't show my records to this extent. The school showed his gender by addressing him as Mr. Asiwaju. What could have been? Those are comprehensive. Just a primary 6 holder will understand. Mr. That is not a female. You don't go deeper just because you just want to call a dog a bad name and looking for every evidence around. That is deeply retrogressing and unfortunate. And to me, just as I still retreat, I'm not an emotional blackmailer. I'm only here to speak the truth. If Rufai loves it or not, we'll come back here to readdress other national issues. But as far as I believe, on his question, the document emanated from a vendor. Have you on your own emailed the vendor's institution? Did this document? The school just only provided on hold. If I say yes or no, that is the end. And they don't claim that it's a document.
I get your point.
And Asiwaju is not a forger. Please, I'm reiterating. Asiwaju is not a forger. He's a man of utmost integrity. He's a man that we found to be manly enough to manage the affairs of the country at this critical time, and he's doing the job. That's the only support. What I expect at this time is for us to create a constructive criticism. Let there be a shadow cabinet of opposition to know if it's really meeting up with the target. So for me, I'm not here to furthermore on these trivialities. Definitely, everybody's look at the way we are addressing each other over an issue that has been determined outside the country. They went all to shop for lies and they still came back with nothing.
Okay. Daily Faro to me. Can the Supreme Court take fresh evidence? Are there compelling, exceptional circumstances that would, dictate that? Do you think that forgery can be established at this stage, considering the fact that there are decided cases on forgery? The most celebrated one being the Eremi Yegio case in Bayelsa.
Dr. Abati, when your legislators are corrupt, you should be worried. If your executive peopled by crooks, you should be afraid. But when the judiciary stops being court of law, the people should be alarmed. Nigerian courts over the past few years have shown very clearly that we have good reasons to be worried about the capacity to deliver justice or to give equity. However, I do know that within the inherent jurisdiction of that court, it has the powers, if it so desires and if it finds the will, to hear evidence that would suggest that the person who is sat in the highest office of the land is a career criminal. That is entirely up to the Supreme Court. It is up to the court to decide whether it is capable of saving what we have described variously as a democracy. What I have said is very simple. No. I'm sorry, Dr. Abati. I am sorry, Dr. Abati. Please rein in Mr. Hassan. Rein him in. Rein him in. Rein him in. He had his say and I did not interrupt him.
You had your time.
He had his say and I did not interrupt him. Please rein him in. What I said is very clear. What I said is very clear.
Don't interrupt him. Please.
You are very biased.
Okay.
In your own opinion.
Okay,
made up your mind.
Please.
As an unbiased arbiter, you are a judge.
Keep
the judge don't descend into arena. You
can't take over the show, Mr.
No, to me, on that, I believe that we just have to go on issues. Let us talk about law.
Please, I beg you.
It's the law that we are talking about. It's the lawyer. Addressing the judiciary. This is the issue. The judges address them.
Okay,
we lawyers cannot continue to desecrate the judiciary.
Allow him.
The judiciary are there to be there as unbiased arbiter. If you love to be part of the article and media lawyer, go and join them.
We are not in a
position. Go and accuse of fight before the court. You don't come to the media and presume judgment. And I won't accept it. I won't accept it.
You've taken over the show.
No. We are here to inform the public. Not you, but the public.
Hold on. We are not in a position to charge you for contempt, but this is becoming contemptuous.
My words are not ambiguous. I was speaking with you specifically, Dr. Abati, over a year ago. I was away in America when you asked me specifically about the appointment of the current CJN, he was appointed in an acting capacity at the time. And my opinion are on paper. They are clear, they are not ambiguous. I have zero trust in the capacity of the CJN to deliver justice. That is not political. That is something I had said long before there was a Peter Obi. So there is nothing political about that. There is nothing personal about that. This is all about Nigeria. It is about the country we want to leave behind for posterity, for our children. What values are we building that country with? Is it a country where nothing matters any longer once the person can snatch it, grab it? If you speak against that, you must hate the person. Is that the kind of country we have become? It is up to the judiciary to decide whether he wishes to do justice or whether he wants to continue wearing blinkers and pretending that it is a court of law when justice is vacant completely in his court. This is not about legalese. It is about building a society based on morality, equity, justice, and even law. If we are now faced with a situation where in our courts, the law does not matter anymore. You have a Lawan in the Senate, even you have an Akpabio, and then you are asking me if I have confidence in the capacity of that judiciary to do justice. I am telling you straight up, no. If anybody does not like that, it is up to them. The point I'm raising is when you have this much imputation of criminality, whether it is proven or not is another ball game entirely. It is not even seemly. Already all over the world, our reputations are in tatters simply because of the person who sits in the highest office in our land. And then we are being told it is wrong to ask questions. We must hate him if we are asking questions. I hate nobody. I hate their deeds.
All right. Okay, I mean, very heavy things you said here. And as you've mentioned, it's just important to clarify that they're your personal opinion in your personal capacity in terms of your evaluation of the judiciary and the capacity of the CJN to deliver equity and justice.
Yes.
Purely personal. So
purely
that's
personal.
View. All right.
And the evidences are in the public space.
All right. To establish that, I'd like to then to reply to that, Mr. Hassan. What's your assessment of the judiciary? And again, just responding to Dr. Abati's question around evidence being admitted to the Supreme Court at this level, from a lawyer's perspective yourself. What's your take on this?
Well, admission of evidence are allowed at every stages of every matter, but you cannot bring in fresh matter. That is the case here. On the effect of article is a dead on arrival case have been issued, and that of Peter Obi. And let me now go into the other question of how best do we rate our judiciary. It's quite unfortunate in this part of the world. When you go to court and you win a case, you go to church and run your Thanksgiving. But the day you lose the case, then you begin to cast aspersion. Our judiciary, which I'm also part of, if you cast aspersion, definitely you are part of that process. But I still want to reiterate, as far as the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal is concerned, the judges are unbiased. For every lawyer, the jurisprudential judgment of that ruling is a book for another day for lawyers to learn, even for lawyers to know how to prepare election petition matters. You don't just presume the fact that you hate the face of the judges or you tag them on all the social media, definitely because they now deliver judgment against you, definitely they are bad. No. Mr. Abati has admitted, everybody knows, our judges are there. You don't preempt them. And that's why I wouldn't want to prejudice the Supreme Court. But I know Atiku and Obi are just on their self-melancholic voyage to just satisfy their followers, the mob attacks. And that's what we are witnessing. Everywhere you go, you see them. But for me, the judiciary is full of integrity, and I believe, and I still reiterate, however the Supreme Court rules, I'm not preempting that they must rule in favor of Asiwaju. If the Supreme Court rules tomorrow, Asiwaju needs to take his leave and obey the rule of law. He has nothing. And I know the man I know, while he was a former governor of Lagos State, he went through the court. He's a man of court. Okay. You might hate him for his God, but he's a man of due process, and he's very calculative in ensuring to get his ass together, not a man that does things hurriedly just to get fire brigade solution.
So a couple of questions. My very dear friend,
my good friend,
Mr. Hassan.
We have let the whole world know that we've resolved behind the camera.
I've got nothing against
you.
Go. But the truth is, I'm a man of fact and I stay same here. And you know, when you are interrogating based on fact and people call you unprofessional, it's a compliment actually because you're doing your work. So thank you for complimenting me. Let me go straight to it. So this was the fact I was interrogating you on. And I'm just a person of facts, and I want the facts to come out.
Okay.
I get your point that a third party, can print a document and everything. But that's why I specifically asked you that did you read the deposition in its entirety? Because in the deposition in its entirety, there were a lot of discrepancies. When Enahoro Eba subpoenaed the school, they gave him one certificate, which was different from what President Tinubu submitted.
Okay.
So the one certificate that they gave Enahoro Eba was different.
Yes.
And that's the bone of contention. And that's why I kept on telling you that. That's why I kept on telling you that. No, hang on a minute. Okay. That's why I kept on telling you that you might not have had the full facts. So it's not that I have anything against you. I've got nothing against you. I don't have the capacity to it. Hang on a minute. You won't let me finish. So that was the variation in the document.
Okay.
And that's why I asked you hitherto that if an issuing body does not authenticate something that was claimed to have been issued by an issuing body, then what is the case? Let me even stretch your argument and make your argument for you, because I love arguments. Okay. So if you say that a third party issued it, was there an authentication by the school recognizing the fact that the third party issued in its deposition? Wasn't that supposed to be submitted to INEC part of the oath? Secondly, the Southwestern College documents. The school themselves came out to say that they have no verification mechanism on these documents students submit to get into their own school.
Yes,
which is suspect, because that means I can submit a name and call myself Wendy Smollen, and the school will accept it without verifying it, which is also an albatross on the school itself. They also talked about, and these were the things that are in the documents, they also talk about the case of Mr. Orr that left the school after there was a certification that was initially delivered to Mr. Wole Afolabi, which is cancelled.
Okay,
so these are the issues. Let me also set a timeline for Mr. Farotimi. Mr. Farotimi, there's this big bone of contention, and this is the argument some people are making, that all that matters is the fact that the school, and in the deposition when Mr. Henderson was interviewing the witness, the school said, yes, the candidate graduated. So people are making the argument that, is that not enough? Once they said graduated, but they said they cannot authenticate the documents. Because that has been a bone of contention, and I want you to be able to clarify first. Answer the question, yeah.
Well, let me draw you to our own local system. I attended LASU. So many years back, there was a printed certificate with touch of picture on it. But now you go to... What year was that? That's 2010, 2011. But I knew when... but I'm aware when you are in English. But I'm coming. I knew Dr. Bat very well as a lecturer. But at the same time, these are facts that are laid before all of us. And facts don't lie. It's just from the angle that you want to pick it up as an African man mentality that, the king does no wrong, or let me just make sure that this man must be nailed, either is saint or not. What you asked is the fact that by whose authority, that's what we call it in law. Who's the authority? Who authorized the issuance? Was there a further request? It would be an omission on the part of the institution to have put up a maybe vaguely decision not extracted, or maybe too assertive. But in their report, if I just say, okay, this document is not from me, that doesn't mean that my the agent who had the authority ab initio is not authorized to issue the document on my behalf. It's only for you to go through that agent to reaffirm. And what Asiwaju is having today, which I want you to write. Do your own.
But the school had another. See,
let
that's
me
what
tell
I'm asking.
you.
Did you
That's what
the
I'm
school
not
had
telling
another
you.
certificate
The
they
school
issued
admitted,
to Enauro Eba.
No, that's what I'm saying, that they even admitted that they have different characters that they use in issuing their certificate. So the people that they
I think you should read the deposition.
I have
You've not
three
read it.
vendors
It's
now.
obvious.
Do you expect every vendor, somebody in one trade, to maintain the same logo and design? Whereby every trade has their own logos, has their own trademarks. If I'm using my own trademark to issue maybe I'm using italic sign.
But Mr. Big's logo is uniform everywhere.
No,
despite franchising.
you're having the African mentality of Nigeria. I'm talking about America here. No.
But Mr. Big's logo is the same everywhere.
We are talking about a third party who has the authorized right to
but the logo, but there's a
go to
standard.
that third
Can we
party.
stay on course?
Go to that
on this
third
program,
party.
no more interruptions today. Please, let's stay on course.
Definitely.
Make your point.
Okay, so the fact I'm asking
so
you.
there is none.
No, the fact I'm asking you is this. That's why I said, please, it's best you read it because it's obvious you've not read it. And this is not to impugn on anything you said.
No.
See, the school in that deposition said they have another one that they gave Enahoro Eba. But the one Tinubu gave was different. They don't know how it came about. So the school can actually have a replacement and reissue. It was that one they gave Enahoro Eba. It's there in the document.
The same school that gave Enahoro Eba still has authorized agent that is still
so why
his right to.
So why didn't they give Tinubu and they gave Enahoro Eba?
That's the choice of Ashwali.
Why? No, I'm just asking, please, just a clear question. Why didn't they give Tinubu, but they could give Enahoro Eba? Pure and simple.
Tinubu only went to the third party to request.
Okay,
That's
Mr.
right.
Mr.
That's right. That is under his own right.
Mr. Lefarotimi, I'm sure you want to answer the questions here.
I assure you that Mr. Azad is a very intelligent man. But when you find a very intelligent man struggling with something as basic as this, you will know that something else is there. So let me just say this. The candidate graduated. That was what the school said. But the school also said very clearly and unambiguously that he knew nothing about the document termed a certificate held by Mr. Tinubu. The only document purporting to be a certificate submitted to INEC by Mr. Bola Tinubu by the declaration of the body that was meant to have issued it is fake, is a forgery. All these arguments that we are having is because, one, the Nigerian press, I'm sorry, Rufai, I'm sorry, Ayo and Doc, we sometimes deliberately ignore the truth that is in front of us and we go on fishing expeditions. The document from Southwestern College shows a social security number that goes back to a female. There are so many lies on getting these things that we are not asking questions related to that because it's already sufficient to focus on the fact that the document submitted is fake. Is that simple? Whether Mr. Enahoro Eba or Mr. whoever, the fact is on record.
But Mr. Farotimi, the school said he graduated.
You know, the school said he graduated. I'm not arguing that with you. Why? That is already on record. It's not something to be argued about. But the school also said the certificate the man submitted is a forgery. That is what the school said. What did they say it is?
No, the school did not say it's a forgery.
So what did they say it is?
All the school said is that it is not what they gave, that they don't know about.
Exactly. So if the issuing authority says that this is not from me, why are we afraid to call it what it is? It's a forgery.
Okay, Farouk, let me come back to you. Number one, I think this program, we disassociate ourselves with the use of the word career criminal.
Thank you.
Because that's libelous per se. It's
I
defamatory.
hope that I will be sued for libel.
No, just
It will be interesting to have that read.
just wait. No, please.
Allow me. You're taking the show away from me.
I'm sorry.
No, please. That's so
That is my summation of the facts as I see them, and anyone who is displeased with them is free to issue writs.
second, on the issue of these election matters, look, it's also not fair to malign the reputation of the CJN. You may say you have said it before, you are repeating it again, that under this CJN, you don't expect the courts to do well.
Look,
that's second point. So again, it's not our statement.
It is my statement,
yes,
and I stand by it.
You may have made it on our platform.
I've made it, and I say it, and I stand by it, and I have evidence of what I said.
Well, maybe the CGN himself may take up the matter with you. Okay. Then the third point is that when I raise the question whether evidence can be provided piecemeal, I thought both of you as lawyers are going to address that, because that's one issue that has been coming up. Okay, maybe in criminal matters, if that evidence was not available initially, was not in existence, and is material to the delivery of justice. But this is at best a civil matter, right? So that was why I was asking, can the Supreme Court take fresh evidence in this kind of situation? And in any case, both of you must also know that electoral jurisprudence is different from the regular process in court. So I wanted both of you to just, educate us about, the electoral jurisprudence that we're dealing with here, rather than, emotional exchanges, so that the public can be better educated.
I am not being emotional. I have answered the questions I was asked. I have given my opinion as I believe them to be legally correct. They might be strong, but they are based in truth. Whoever is unhappy with them should feel free to issue writs. They are that simple.
Okay, to both of you, what lessons, as at this stage, without dictating to the Supreme Court that will be properly seized of the matter, what lessons do you think all of us as Nigerians can learn at this point? Let me start with you again, Farotimi.
Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. No matter how long you tell a lie, eventually you get found out. Just tell the truth. That is all. Just tell the truth.